Chest up, shoulders back. This is a Revival Fitness. Let's go on a journey, shall we? Because I found the first video that I ever filmed before I even started the channel. I think I had the channel name in mind back then. I've talked about this in the past and I've shown pictures of it, but you're going to see now, of my own admission, the really failure of progress. I was going to say that I made, I guess the progress I failed to make in my almost first 3 years in the gym. And this is a great example of what happens when you don't have access to good information, or at least you don't follow good information. And unfortunately, whenever you are a young lifter, you have really no way to decipher what's good and what's not until it's too late, and then you realize that you wasted a lot of time. So check this out.
Hello, Internet. This is Matt from Revival Fitness. I'm now over 3 years in my lifting career.
So I don't know when you started lifting. I was in college. I think I just looked up online, like, you know, typical searches, how to build muscle, best workout routine to build muscle, all this other shit, right? It's not like today, you young whippersnappers, you have all this content, you go on Instagram, and there's 750 people talking about how to optimize myofibrillar hypertrophy. We didn't have that back in my day. You had to go searching on bodybuilding.com. Is that site still around?
I've never had a steady teacher or program to follow. I've just gone on bodybuilding.com and typed in, I want to build muscle, I want to gain some strength, and, you know, Jim Stepani 6 week, whatever the hell comes up. You know, you get a little bit out of it, and then you flop to another program. I've never ran a program for more than 6 months.
The first program I think I ever did, I don't know if I can even find it now, this was many years ago. Big man on campus. Great marketing. I was like, well, I want to be the big man on campus. I think that was a bro split. This was way back when I thought lateral raises worked your lats, like your back. So I would grab these really heavy dumbbells and I would just hurl lateral raises up at my side. And I was like, oh, my back is really growing. No idea what I was talking about. But, you know, in hindsight, maybe that's the secret to big delts. You guys always go crazy about my shoulders. Maybe that's the secret. Try some well-intentioned but misguided lateral raises and just cheat like crazy on them. But speaking of, if you want to stop wasting time in the gym, because I know a lot of you are, you guys send me your programs all the time, and a lot of them are complete train wrecks. Even if they're not a total train wreck, they are, you know, kind of going off the track a little bit. They could be buttoned up much better. Check out my links down below. I have great reviews and testimonials on my site. Stop wasting time. I mean it as someone who did myself, guys. You can make a lot more progress than you think once you dial your training in. Damn it. I'm pissed off now because I got the same weight and reps on this lat pull down last week. A lot of the stuff I've been doing has been improving very smoothly. There's some stuff though, lat pull downs being one of them. Man, it is just slowing down to a crawl at this point. And I will say I have been having some shoulder issues. Like, it's weird, like the bicep and front delt area. And I was doing the typical bro thing and just totally ignoring it and just praying it would get better until it got worse and worse, and it was even affecting some of my lifts. But I'll tell you what really helped.
This is the Bob and Brad X6 Pro Max massage gun. You no longer have to go and schedule an appointment and pay money over and over to get the same thing done. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. It includes a demonstration manual that goes over all of the functions and the features, as well as explaining how to best use the massage gun across different parts of the body as well. And these massage heads have been upgraded. There is an innovative design that is spiraled, meaning they fit easily and snugly into the gun, and they ensure safe and secure attachment, so you don't have to worry about them detaching whenever you use the gun, even at the higher speeds. Starting at 2,000 and going all the way up to 3,200 RPM, and delivering up to 55 pounds of stall force, the X6 Pro packs a punch, but also allows you many options to go from smoother to more intense, depending on the area of the body that you want to target. The two standard large heads are the ball and the air cushion. They are great for getting broader areas of the body without targeting anything too specifically. If you want to dig in more, you can go for the U-shaped head. This really replicates if you were to get somebody that kind of double prongs their fingers, and you can really dig in to tight spots. And the same with the bullet head as well. That really hones in on one specific area. But the two attachments that really stand out to me are the hot and cold and metal heads. So the metal head is similar to the bullet one, given that it is metal, though it's going to really dig in deep. I use this on the most tight areas of my body. And the hot and cold head, going as low as 50 degrees Fahrenheit or up to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is really interesting to do prior to training as well, especially if you've been sitting all day or you have a tight nagging area. You can hit it with the heat function and get more blood flow there and really get it moving prior to your workout. The X6 Pro has not only an extended grip, but also an ergonomic handle, so you can easily get to any hard-to-reach spots from head to toe. And when it comes to charging, the X6 Pro is a breeze. There are no batteries required, and this thing will be fully charged in a short amount of time. No matter what your ultimate training style or goal is in the gym, this is definitely something you want to have in your arsenal. If you want to give the Bob and Brad X6 Pro Max a try, click the link in the description box down below, and you can save 10% using discount code BobBradX6E10 at checkout.
So I did that for, I want to say, a number of months. I was very typical back then too. I would program hop. So I would do something for a number of months and then see a flashy new program, and I would go do that. I think the next main one I did was 6 weeks to shred. I wanted to get lean, even though I was already like 155, 160-ish pounds. So I guess effectively recompositioned to a decent degree. I mean, it's not impossible, but I was not strong at all. How strong was I, in fact? Let's see.
I'm now over 3 years in my lifting career, and I'm not able to bench 225 for reps, squat 315 for reps, and deadlift 405 for reps. I've been in a gym at least 3 days a week for over 3 years, and I cannot do any of those things. That's something I want to be able to do now. I mean, I'm a young man in my 20s. I'm about to be in the prime of my life, and I'm nowhere near those numbers. And given the time I've spent in the gym and all the hours I've put into training and eating, and I still can't do those, it's pretty embarrassing.
And I get a lot of flack in the comments, especially because I recommend bench squat and deadlift strength standards as general proxies of progress. We'll talk about that more coming up in the intermediate purgatory video. I know I mentioned that like a month ago. I'm terribly behind schedule all the time. Thanks for sticking with me. But I could do a bunch of pull-ups and chin-ups in a row with body weight. I could even have added some plates if I wanted to, probably like 10, 15, maybe up to 20 pounds or more back then for some reps. I could do dips. I could do plenty of push-ups. The fact of the matter was, man, I just not have that much muscle yet. That's what this really comes down to with not only the novice phase, but this entire process in general, man. A lot of guys, it's very funny, like they watch these dudes online that are so big and jacked, and they want to look similar to them. Then they'll say, well, no, I don't actually want to be that big. It's like, okay, sure, I understand that. You don't want to be as big as Sam Sulek, right? Okay. However, you want to have some percentage of the muscle mass that he has. I mean, like if you're here and someone like Sulek is here, you're going to have to get to like at least around here, bro, to get to your goal. If you stay stuck forever, though, you're never going to get out of this part. And that's what happens whenever you, one, have poor programming, two, have suspect nutrition, that's coming up in a moment in this video, and then three, you just won't gain weight. Like I mentioned, my weight was in this range really for almost 3 years. I mean, I never really escaped the 150-pound range. Commie math for you Europeans and everybody else, that's what, like, I want to say 70-ish kilograms. Wait, I think this machine finally opened up. Let's check. Never mind, false alarm.
It's starting to hit me that my body doesn't disagree with powerlifting or anything like that like I used to think it was. You know, my body's not different. I don't need to do different exercises. I've just never been on a good program.
The biggest programming problem that I see across anything that guys send me, beyond even what's on paper, because you can make any program work, assuming it's just not horrifically designed. What they lack is like a proper structure, and there's no real progression scheme. That's got to be the biggest issue, because I talk to guys all the time. I'm like, okay, so when are you adding weight? And they'll say, when I think I can, or when I feel like it, or, oh, well, I increase the weight by X pounds, say plus 5 pounds, whenever I can do a given number of reps. And that all sounds good, especially the latter of that. But in practice, I see oftentimes that's evidently not happening, whether that is because you're plateaued so much or because you don't actually have a scheme you're really following. You're kind of just going by feel. Understand something, guys, especially as a novice, the more experience you get, the more you can do this. Like, I'm at the level now where you can do this. But as a beginner, part of this as a guy too, it's very tough because our egos are so big, especially as young men. You think you're the shit, you think you know everything. Even if deep down you know that you don't, you'll never admit it.
As a young man getting into this game, your ego is going to get the better of you, and it's probably controlling you almost every step of the way. At least mine was, and it still is to a good degree. I'm working to fix that.
You need to be able to acknowledge the fact that you just don't know. So guys will just go, I mean, I was in the same boat. You'll just go on, and maybe you'll look things up online and you'll find some guy like, oh, he looks good, I'll listen to what he says. But that's pretty much the extent of it. You don't really have a way to verify what you're doing, that it's good or viable. So you end up spinning your wheels. And guys will be like, no, bro, I listen to my body. You know, I listened to Arnold, he said shock the muscle, so I shock the muscle. Or whatever it's going to be, you always have some rationalization for the fact that you don't have like a concrete plan in place long term. And you will pay for that. That might be the most painful part, because you can spend all the time you want when it comes to the training. I know a lot of you guys now go to the gym 6, God forbid, 7 days a week. I was doing that too. I don't think I ever went every single day, but I was going 6 days a week religiously for a while when I was younger. Then once you finally get things squared away, it's like inconceivable to the guys that have not been through it yet, but you could legitimately cut your gym time in half, but make double the progress once you get these things sorted out. And you tell that to guys now and they're like, bro, that doesn't make any sense. You know, guys will get my stuff or they'll talk to me and I'll recommend a given thing, and they're just like, dude, I'll never do this. Like, how could I possibly build muscle? I'm doing less than I'm doing now. And I'm like, it doesn't matter, bro. What you're doing now isn't effective. If you're doing something effective, even in modest quantities, you're going to go much farther than if you do a ton of what's ineffective. But that mentality of always having to do more. I mean, dude, I'm in the gym right now. I can look around. I see it. You know, there's young dudes in here. They do 10 bicep exercises in one day, or they're doing chest and they just hit every machine, and then their friend strips the weight. They're doing drop sets. I mean, they're just throwing everything at these muscles. You know the common denominator with all these guys? They don't have a lot of muscles. But it was only once that I finally graduated and got this down a bit more. I was getting to like the 70s, 75s, and 80s and beyond on the dumbbell bench press. When I was in college, in that situation I just described, I was permanently just lingering around the 50-pound dumbbells. And I know a lot of you guys are in the same circumstance. All right, this guy is still sitting on this machine, bro. I get resting for a while, but this is getting egregious. I might have to go do the thing where I stand next to him and get like really close. Even if I don't ask, I can just kind of stand there, and eventually he might like kind of get the cue and start, you know, moving his ass. That's probably happened to you guys too, right? Some people will come up and they'll directly be like, hey, how many sets do you have left? Other ones, they'll kind of just do that glare at you. I think I'm going to go glare at him.
I recently started doing the Texas method because I wanted to improve my strength, and I was still so entrapped in the bodybuilding YouTube mindset that instead of just doing the lifts as outlined by Ripito, I've added so much additional work. Like, I had chest work and back work. I'm still so trapped in this bodybuilding mentality of, if I miss out just a little more muscle fatigue, if I miss out on just a little more of this, then I'm going to lose some gains. And that's not the case, because I'm impeding my recovery of these big barbell movements that I want to be improving. Do you see that? I'm sabotaging myself because my ego is too big.
When I came on YouTube, you guys had basically just seen me get into my intermediate gains. I mean, I guess you could say I was an early intermediate, but it was nothing remarkable. I mean, I still get comments now. If you go back and watch a lot of my earliest videos, people are like, dude, you look double the size now.
I hope so.
That's how it goes, man. I mean, it's going to take a while. Like, the results that a lot of you guys think you're going to get, and I was the same way, a lot of this journey is overcoming fitness industry marketing, like the brainwashing and the completely unrealistic expectations you will get. That's one of the most important parts, because once you overcome that, you know, you can't really be disappointed anymore. I mean, maybe if you train for a long time, you can be, but one of the biggest problems is that people think they're going to get just remarkable results in very short time frames, and unfortunately, it does not work like that unless you're talking like bodybuilding at extremely high levels with all kinds of chemistry going on. Even then, it oftentimes doesn't happen there either.
I've started touching my chest when I bench regularly. I have adjusted my volume. That took me 3 years to get through my head, and I injured myself multiple times in the process. Don't be like me. Be smarter.
But once you get the general programming down, it really becomes an issue of eating. With the eating, because I was in college, man, I ate a lot of food, at least what I considered a lot of food, right? I would go to the dining hall and I would get a to-go container. And this is a hack for you college bros, by the way. You have a lot of food at your disposal there in the dining halls or the cafeterias. Don't go out to eat all the time. I know, oh, but the dining hall food is boring, bro. Listen, guys. If you want to go very far in this lifestyle, even if you don't want to do bodybuilding or powerlifting or anything like that, if you just want to look good and you are somebody who is mid-range genetically, which is what pretty much all of you are going to be, serious genetic freaks are not watching this content. They've never had to go online and search like how to build muscle. But if you want to do that, you need to be in control of what you eat really at all times. I mean, you can have some days where you have a cheat meal here and there, or you take it, you know, not 100% sure. But day in, day out, you have to be in control of what you eat. There was no way around that. And I've told you guys before, what I like to do is eat the same thing over and over because it totally streamlines the process and makes it much easier. You don't have to do that, but I talk to guys all the time. Again, I see the same trends very consistently. Guys will deviate from the diet a little bit and they'll have numerous bad days in a row, if not weeks in a row. It's very easy to fall off the wagon. And even if you get enough protein, because most gym bros can get enough and also track their protein, but most are totally clueless of the overall intake. Not only that, but the composition, more importantly, of the carbs and the fats that they consume. Check out the Body Composition Bible. I break it all down in very good detail there. It's much more than I could ever explain in a video like this. But if you do not have total control of your diet, at least the vast majority of the time, you're going to struggle to get not only the body you want in terms of the muscle mass, but the overall body composition. So it was very common for me. I would go to the dining hall and I would make a very standard plate. I would get, like, say, chicken breast or whatever sort of lean meat they had. I would get some type of carb source. I would get, like, okay, pasta or rice or whatever, and then maybe like a vegetable. You know, maybe some days I would want to have pizza or have some sweets or whatever. I'm on the side where my metabolism runs so high, I can have sweets even on a pretty consistent basis and not really gain much fat. Some of you are on the other end of the spectrum. You can look at sweets and gain fat, okay? So whatever side of that spectrum you're on, you have to account for that for yourself. So if you're somebody that is in a, so you're in your minor caloric surplus, but you're gaining a lot of fat, not only could you be eating too much overall, but you could be hurting yourself with the wrong types of foods. Again, you have to know what exactly you're eating, the ingredients, not just numbers on a piece of paper. Simple changes to the foods you eat could result in progress, not just like simple gym progress, but you could see clearer skin, better energy, better sleep. So that's what I was doing, because I was eating 4 or 5 times a day. I mean, dude, I was totally diligent. I really never missed a meal. I mean, if anything, I would eat over what I was supposed to, because, you know, maybe on the weekends go out to eat or get some snacks whenever you feel like it. I was quite the stoner back in the day too, so I would get, you know, baked and eat a bunch of snacks too. Kind of frequently, in fact. It just was not enough to facilitate the overall muscle mass gains and weight changes that I was looking for. And, you know, you'll see all this content online, man, all this bulking, fear-mongering content. A lot of that comes from ex-binge eaters and former fat people And for them, I get it, right? For them, they have to be much more careful than someone like me. But I know a lot of you guys are in a situation like me too. Your weight does not move very much. You're going to have to figure this out for yourself. So I've said before, and you can check out the video in the top corner for more information and to see the full thing, but I don't like to just go off a scale number, like how much weight should I gain per week. I don't give a set number because I don't like chasing a scale number. That's how you give yourself a justification to gain too much fat too quickly. That's a good philosophical debate to have, right? It's okay, would you rather have an increased chance of getting fat and you gain fat quicker, but you build muscle quicker, or really have a very small chance of ever truly getting fat, but you build muscle slower overall? And some of you guys probably have the worst of both in that regard. I think I'll do another video too coming up about the so-called like just nightmare scenario that a lot of guys are in, like kind of that skinny fat range. You just don't know what to do. I've made some videos about skinny fat before, but we might be due for another one. You see examples of genetic mastodons all the time on the internet. Of course, they're going to blow up, but that's not the case with the vast majority of us. So you can watch people who kind of screw things up. Everyone's got a friend. Oh, but my friend, bro, he eats whatever he wants and he benches 315 and he has abs, whatever it's going to be. It's like, okay, cool. Can you do that? No, you can't. So there's no point in using these outlier examples as not only the rule, but like, it's like, oh, he can do it, so there's proof. It's like, sure, a small percentage of people can. Most of us, man, I mean, just to get in general good shape, okay, just even if you have like a modest goal, okay, if you want to just be built at low teens body fat, you can't just coast your way there, bro. I mean, that's the really unfortunate reality about it. Even some goals that would be very underwhelming by internet standards, for most of us, you can't even sort of half-ass or stumble your way into that. At least not in any good time frame. Maybe if you want to stumble around for 10, 15 years, okay? I know you don't want to wait that long, though. I sure as hell didn't and don't. But just to get to like a reasonable goal like that, it's going to take dialing in pretty much everything, at least to a very good extent. Maybe not 100%, but you're going to have to be like minimum 80, 90% for a good length of time to get there. So keep that in mind as you go through your fitness journey. And I'm about done here. I'm getting pretty tired. I'm tired of talking too. I'm out of words and jokes and everything. So have a blessed one.
This message has been paid for by Revival Fitness and approved by me. So, yeah, get to it.